Hey, what is going on, guys? It's the SS Ultimate Goku back in another video to do my Attack on Titan OAD episode 3.25 English dub review, or episode 2 of the OVAs. Um, so, this one really was an interesting episode, I guess. Um, this was really more. Funny thing with this episode compared to the last episode is the last episode really kind of was significant to the plot. I really wouldn't say this was that significant to the plot. This was kind of a throwaway episode. Some people might think there were some moments in here that were important. I guess if you want to argue that this episode wasn't kind of important into Jean's character development, I guess it might be important, but in terms of plot, I could have totally done without this episode. This more or less to me was kind of like this would be kind of like a filler episode, really. If we're talking about in anime contents, this would kind of quantify as something like that. But it was entertaining nonetheless. So there isn't really that much to really kind of write up on in this particular episode. So this was just kind of more of a fun episode. The episode really kind of, again, kind of goes based off of Jean and what he's doing. Like, they show stuff, of him training when he returns. Or if it starts with him leaving, and then him going to, the scouts, and then coming back to home. Obviously, there's just some discrepancy between him and his mom. He has issues. They show some attack scenes, like when they're, the going out the Titans and all that stuff. But it basically goes right into the whole stuff with Jean, which is kind of the whole basis of the episodes. Is kind of funny. It doesn't really take itself this serious. Like I said, it's not really that important to the main series, unlike the last episode. This episode could definitely have been done without, compared to the last episode, which probably should have been used more in the original actual episodes. So, basically the setup for this was Pixis, kind of was drunk, like Commander Pixis. He's kind of drunk, and he's like just hungry for food and stuff like that, and like they have to yell in his ear because he's not hearing any of them or whatever because he's asleep, and he's like, "Oh, is it lunchtime already?" He's like, "You just ate lunch, sir." So, they're just saying to relax and whatnot. And he's just like, when's dinner? He's like, when's dinner? So, yeah, that's kind of where this whole sets up, because then again, Sasha and confronts Jean, about what he's doing, and they want to, they have a dispute on training, and so they basically wanted to challenge each other to like a challenge of some sort, and it was supposed to be kind of like some fighting regiment or something. But then Pixis comes in and felt like that they should settle things with a cooking contest, because I guess he's still hungry from the previous scene. So he's like, yeah, we're gonna do that instead, and I'm gonna be the judge. So yeah, kind of see the more funny side, I guess, of Commander Pixis, because mostly in the main series he's mostly very, very serious. So is kind of more laid back in this. Mikasa and Eren kind of pop up. I also should point out that in the beginning of the episode, uh, Jean did have like a drawing which got ruined, and he ripped it up too. And it did kind of look like Mikasa, which was kind of weird, since he wouldn't have met her yet, and so that was kind of interesting. But that got ripped. He ripped it up or whatever, because his mom, you know, I guess forced him to wrinkle it. Um, so yeah, they do a contest, and basically Arm and Annie are on Jean's team. Rhina, Connie are with Sasha. Um, Sasha, Sasha, Rhina, and Connie end up going into the forest to search for a boar. They find the poop. Well, Rhina doesn't find the poop. Connie and Sasha find it, and Rhina's like, no, you're never gonna find it. And they find the poop, and they're like, it was like, it's just luck or beginner's luck. And then they end up finding the boar asleep or whatever. Then he tries to run away, and Sasha's like not having. He punches him, elbow him, and he's like, we need to do this. We got to get it. And then of course the boar wakes up. Eventually they attack it, and they put it down and capture it, and they cook it and whatnot. So they go on to cook it. So then later, after that happens, Jean, is trying to think of like what they can do to, what meal they're gonna come up with and what they're gonna capture. So while this is happening, Jean is visited by his mother, and his mother is giving him apples and other stuff, because they were in the town where they lived, and so he was like upset that he hadn't come visit, so she came visiting him, and like he's just having a tantrum, throws the apples down, and then Eren like picks him up or whatever. One of the few times you actually get to see Eren in this episode, because he wasn't really in the last episode. So he goes in, helps him up, and he's like brings one thing left, which again just doesn't really want it. After she leaves, Aaron's like, hey, she's just trying to help you, and whatnot. You should be more respectful. So yeah, he's just out, and he's just embarrassed. He feels embarrassed by him, or he feels embarrassed by her, I guess. So after this whole fiasco happens, he concocts a plan to basically try to steal beef from like the office so he can beat Sasha. And Armin's not a thief and won't go over it. He actually, I guess, breaks his leg, because then they show him in a cast or whatever. And then Annie is just all serious and is just like, yeah, I'm not going to do this either. So after that, he gives up on the plan. Jean ends up opening a lunchbox that it was one of the things his mom left him in a container that she didn't really knock over. And after opening it, he remembered all the times his mother stood by him, even when he helped her out when he was sick. But in these flashbacks, John realized how important she was. So the cooking contest, then they kind of skip right to the cooking contest. There was also this. I should also point out that there was the funny scene with him trying to steal the meat himself, but it failed when he tried to attempt to steal the beef. He pretended it was. He pretended it was. That he was going to the bathroom, even though the bathroom was upstairs. And this is how he got the gift that his mother had given him, which led to him remembering, all the good stuff with the flashbacks. So then after that, they go to the cooking contest. You got Commander Pisk 6 right there, ready to eat, in front of the crowd. You got the person who taught the cadets, being the host basically. And Sasha presents her prime board meat, and when this is where it gets funny. When Commander Pixix eats it, and he starts going into these, I guess, moments like fantasy type moments or whatever, daydreaming of what he's eating. The first thing I thought of was Food Wars. Because there was just like all this, fake stuff that was going on that wasn't really going on in the real world at that point. The only thing that didn't happen is he didn't lose his clothes. But it was also like a there was like a thing there, because I think they had like the Titans, like the, it seemed like they had Armin and Aaron like turned into Titans or something, or at least it appeared that way. I guess they were trying to not make it obvious, because that would have been kind of shadowing like what was going to happen later. And I'm sure at the time when this was released, probably people didn't notice that, because at the time it hadn't happened yet in the anime. But I guess that was what they were kind of shadowing at. But it was kind of interesting. I don't know exactly when Food Wars came out, but I don't know. Like, maybe they were like trying to copy them, or they kind of took that image from that episode and used it into Food Wars. I have no idea, but I got such a Food Wars vibe from that scene. I have no idea if Food Wars came out already by this point, or if that was just something that inspired Food Wars later on when they created it. But I mean, that was such a Food Wars vibe. Like, it's kind of obvious if you've watched Food Wars. So anyways, so he had the boar, and he liked it, obviously, but then Jean basically presented his humble oyster type food, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I'm not very up in arms on foobs. It looked like a pastry with sauce from my vantage point, but that's anime food for you. Anyways, so Commander Pixix ate it, and he actually ate all of it, and they showed him eating all of it, but they didn't show no Food Wars vibe for that one. So everyone's like, oh well, sure, Sasha's gonna win here because it's meat. And that's not what ends up happening. Jean wins the match. He announces it. Everyone's shocked and then excited. Sasha's like, I'm not convinced. It's meat. How can something beat meat? And he's like, and Commander Pixix is like, that's exactly right. It's just meat. There's nothing else. And that's why it didn't win. Well, I think Meat would disagree with you on that, Commander Pick Six. But then again, Commander Pick Six is the judge of this, I guess, food war. Uh, so, I guess Commander Pick Six is a little biased. Um, so, anyways, um, so yeah, Sasha loses, and Sasha's sad and upset and crying, and then John basically gives the hand or whatever, and you know, um, she you know tells him what he got it from and all this and what meant everything to him, and John then at the end pays the visit to his mother, and that's how this ends. That's how this episode ends. Just a very, 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 very soft, funny episode. Again, had a lot of food war vibes. The picture you're seeing right now was also during the episode, where again they had the confrontation of the challenge of them ready to fight, which was what the original plan for the challenge was going to be. But then Pixa stepped in and wanted it to be, I guess, a food war. Yeah, Sasha should have, I guess, took the advice, because at the end of the episode she said, I should have used potatoes and other mixtures and whatnot, and probably, because she is Potato Girl after all. One thing to note here, because I am not sure if, for Sasha's English voice actor, if it was the new voice actor from season 4, because they changed voice actors in season 4, or if it was pre-season 4, Ashley's voice actor. There is no voice acting credit thing at the end of the episode, and I've been trying to look up online to see who it was, but unfortunately I cannot come up with anything. Ashley was the original, obviously. She left for the final season, but like I said, it was pretty good, because I was kind of worried, because if this was the new Sasha Voice, Megan, who is doing the final season as we speak right now currently, if this was Megan, I think she did a pretty okay job with it, because her Sasha's voice was more softer in the earlier seasons, and obviously that was kind of the thing. It's easy to kind of take over Sasha's voice in season 4, because her voice kind of gets a lot raised up, because she's older, and she's a little more mature in her voice by that point, versus in the earlier seasons where she's more carefree. And so going back to these episodes where she's more carefree is probably would be more challenging for someone who's taking over a voice, where the development has already kind of happened that way. But I don't know for sure, because again, I've been looking on a couple websites, and I don't know if anyone has posted on social media or anything like that who it is. But they don't have English dub credits, for these episodes. It seems, at least at the moment, they don't for the streaming service. Maybe they'll have them for home release if they ever release them on DVD or Blu-ray. But as of right now, I have no idea. I guess I'm gonna just assume it's Megan, because Ashley, I think, left because she wanted to do more LA voice work. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. Someone else might know in the comment section before I even find out. I'll probably find out maybe even after this video's uploaded. Who knows? But as of right now, I do not know at the time of this recording of this video. So keep that in mind. Anyways, so that is the end of the episode. That was just something I wanted to note for this, since Sasha did change her voice, and she was in this episode. She wasn't in the last episode, which is why I didn't talk about it. Since she was in this episode, I wanted to talk about it. Also, I should add one more thing, since I didn't get to it, and that is the public disclaimer. There really wasn't a public disclaimer. It was kind of just vague. So, end quote. The trick to cooking him, picking ingredients that you won't regret things. It shows Levi and I think Mikasa, which is kind of ironic since, you know, Levi really isn't in this episode at all. So that's that. And then later in the episode, I think they show Commander Irvin reading a book, lounging around on weekdays. If only the damn Titans disappeared while I nap. End quote. So yeah, those were the public disclaimers as well. You know, they don't even really say it, but yeah, they were there. And yeah, that was their public disclaimers. So, yeah, that was the episode. Again, this episode wasn't really that serious. And really, this was probably an episode we could do without in the main series, or anything really. This was kind of more of a filler episode that just happened to be an OVA, I think. But the only real benefit to this episode, I guess, is really we learn more about Jean. That's really kind of, I think, the most benefit, because we know about Sasha. We don't really know that much about Jean. Jean kind of was just, I mean, he was there. I mean, we never really learned more from his, he never got really that much screen time. Most of his screen time was with everyone else in the series. So this episode kind of was more focused on him. So in that sense, if people wanted to see more of what Jean was about, then I guess this was a good episode. But outside of that, this really wasn't an important episode whatsoever. It was a food eating contest. So it wasn't that important. The foreshadowing of, you know, I guess Eren and Armin as Titans, or at least it kind of looked like them as Titans in the Food Wars daydreaming of Commander Pixis when he was eating Sasha's meat was quite interesting. But that's really about it after that. But that's about it. Let me know what you guys think about this episode. And we will review the next episode, hopefully on time for when the third one gets released this Sunday. Since, you know, obviously these last two ones were delayed. But so hopefully for the last 6 weeks we'll be on schedule for them all. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate if you like this reviews. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell for all the, or hit that subscribe and hit that notification bell for all the latest contents. So you're up to date on any videos that I have uploaded, or future videos that are uploaded. And make sure to subscribe, guys. Really make sure. I know I have to keep saying this, but it's very important, because if you do like my contents and you're seeing this for the first time and you want to continue seeing it, you gotta subscribe and hit the bell, guys. So yeah, guys, that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku moderator. Peace!